Module 28. Title of this module is Corpus and Language Technology. So we are now trying to focus how corpus is directly used in all kinds of language technology related tasks. That language technology is a covered term here, which includes natural language processing, computational linguistics, language documentation, digitization, font technology, speech technology, and all others. So it is almost clear to us that the maximum utilizations of language corpora is registered now in language technology, as well as in some other application based or application oriented linguistic researches. So language technology or computational linguistics is an important area where language corpora are maximally used. So we will try to summarize, because this is such a huge area. It's not possible to capture all those things within this short span of time. So we would rather try to highlight how some of the major domains are directly utilizing language corpora for the purpose of technology development for Indian languages. Now, before we do that, there is a confusion. I need to focus on this confusion. Whenever we say it is language technology, people are quite confused here. What does this mean? Is it language for technology or technology for language? Are we trying to remodel our language so that it can be developed, utilized for development of technology? Or are we going to develop some technological tools, technology or systems or devices or approaches, methodologies which can help us to handle, to utilize, to understand our language in a better way? So there has been a continuous conflict between the two. Is it technology for language, or is it language for technology? In my mind, I understand that it is both. It is two-way again. So what happens? We are initially trying to understand the structure, the rules, the properties of language. For that, we also use technology, tools, systems to analyze the language, to explicate the language, to understand the rules, how they are operating, to understand the patterns, how they form, to understand the roles and functions of the elements that are used to construct the language, different types of texts. So in most of the time, we are using technology also to do those things. Then the knowledge base which is gathered from the analysis of language, also using again to remodel, redesign the systems, redesign the techniques so that we can do it more elegantly. I'm giving an example. Suppose we need a very large bilingual lexical database as an important resource for machine translation, which we'll also discuss later. But since it is not possible manually to develop or compile a large linguistic database or bilingual lexical database in a short span of time, and that too in a completely error-free manner, in a very standard homogeneous way, the best thing is that we can use a device called computer once the data is available in digital form. So what can be achieved by a large group of people or a large span of time can easily be achieved in a shortest possible time, maybe within a day, by a computer. So what we did here, we utilized a computer tool or a technology to handle, to redesign, to process our language data. Then we developed a language resource which is going to further contribute to develop another tool or system which is called machine translation. So what we find that language technology is a very highly complicated term which works in both ways, in two directions mode. So it is language for technology as well as technology for language. Also, I personally would like to have technology for language. Now the thing is that since it's a very complicated game altogether, because we need to combine both technological knowledge as well as linguistic knowledge together, we find many people coming from various disciplines to take part into the same. In this game, not only the linguists, but people coming from computer science, statistics, mathematics, neuroscience, cognitive science, psychology, semiotics, discourse, pragmatics, many other disciplines, people are combining together, working as in a group to handle language in that way. So language technology, what do we do there? First thing, analyze empirical language data in large amount with the help of technology or computer to be more precise. Identify the rules and patterns of language use. Use linguistic data and information to formulate new rules. Convert those rules into machine-readable algorithms. Feed those algorithms to train a system or a computer. Employ a computer to work on various linguistic tasks. And utilize those computer-generated outputs for human benefits. In sum, this is what I understand as computational linguistics or language technology. So here both linguists and computer science people of computer science have good parts. Linguists are engaged to do those tasks where they are master in analysis of language, identifying the rules, identifying the lexical stocks, formulating the grammars, or formulating the rules. On the other hand, the computer science people who are not master in linguistics but masters in computer technology, they can utilize those resources, those rules, those observations, those patterns to train the system, to form the rules or modulate the programs or algorithms. So both of them need to combine together to work in this frame of language technology. So if we look back, we can get a very short history rather of language technology. Maybe for the last 60 or 70 years we have come across where people are trying to collectively do work in the area of language technology. The basic motivation at that time was actually to translate texts from one language to another. It is assumed that if we can develop a system or a mechanism or a tool which can translate from one language to another quite elegantly, quite effectively as human does, but very faster time, then it is possible that we can proceed much better integration among the communities, among the people, and share knowledge, share information, exchange information. So there are various motivations behind that. But point is that the effort for the works for language technology or computational linguistics started nearly 70 years back. And still now, we have come across a long ages, decades, at least 7 decades, where many efforts have been made towards the direction to combine those two important aspects together to develop systems, tools of language technology. So it is not possible to give the full details of history, how different parts of the world as well as in India are trying to work on it. So I can find out what are the major areas of language technology which we need to concentrate or which now people working. What we find that in the language technology task, it is not only texts but also speech is given equal importance. Also, the lexicon, the grammars, the rules are all taken together. So if we can summarize here, we can find out how technology being developed for languages. Now there are 7 or 8 different domains where the major activities of language technology are going on. Let me identify that. First one is font technology. This is a very crucial issue, particularly in Indian context, as we know that many of the Indian languages are not adequately represented in the web. Now, the question is, why it is not so? Is it the deficiency of the language, or the deficiency of technology, or what? Or it is perhaps the combinations of many other issues. First thing is that the language may not have a font, so it is not possible to design a font, or it has not been possible so far to design a font for the language and upload those resources of the language in the web. So what is important here is that we need to design good fonts for many of the languages. Now, digital font design is an important task. For almost all the languages which have fonts, it is necessary. Even when we find that many of the languages which have font, which is used for printing purposes, printing books, text materials, and other things, they don't have the digital version of it. Even if they have some fonts digital versions, they are not Unicode compatible. As a result of which, many of the linguistic resources, properties are not available in the net, in the web, for global access, global utilizations, global reference, and many other tasks. So first area of language technology for me is designing digital font for almost all the languages which have their fonts. At the same time, it may also include designing fonts for those minority languages for which there is no font at all. So there are two important things. Designing a font for a language for printing purpose is one thing. Designing a digital font technology for those languages is another thing. So we want fonts for languages in digital form, so that texts, other materials, other resources can be available in the net, in the web, in digital form. As you have come across that ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Interchange, was developed long ago. Similarly, following the ASCII code, we developed our ISCI code, that ISCI Indian Standard Code for Information Interchange. So this was a part of the font technology development because of the GIST technology, as I mentioned earlier. The digital fonts were developed for many of the Indian languages, particularly those languages included in the Indian Constitution. It is also necessary to develop the Unicode. As you know, that Unicode is a universal code for languages because of certain importance of font-to-font conversion, interlingual changes or conversion of text. Unicode has been developed. So it is another important area of research for us is to convert those ISCI texts so far digitized or developed in Indian languages into Unicode format. So conversion of fonts from ISCI to ASCII to ISCI and ISCI to Unicode and all those things is a huge challenge for us. So font technology is an important area of Indian research in language technology, particularly with respect to Indian languages. We need to have digital font for almost all the Indian languages, and those fonts have to be converted into Unicode. And third, all the resources which are available now for Indian languages need to be digitized. Second area of language technology for us is language corpora development. So far, we have discussed about it and elaborated many issues and aspects of language corpora. So this is another important part of language technology. What are the things involved into it? Now first, develop a system for generating corpora. Not only text corpora, speech corpora, multimodal corpora, dialect corpus, sign language corpora, body language corpora of various types needs to be developed for all the Indian languages of various types, various content, various structure, for various types of research works. So development of corpora in Indian languages is another important area of language technology research in India, research and development tasks. So development of corpora is one important part, not only for Indian languages, also for many other languages. But this is an important, because without which other technology for language technology, tools or systems or resources is not possible to devise, to design, to develop. So corpora is a rudimentary part. Third important part, the generation of corpus is one thing, but making that corpus processed and ready for utilization is another part. So another important area of research and development in language technology, keeping in mind the Indian languages into main frame, is that processing of those corpora. The corpora which are available, which are made, must be available to the entire manpower, to the entire community, all the people who are using them, who are intended to using them, or made it be accessible to them. So we need to develop tools and systems of language technology for corpus processing. Like we must have tools for text normalization, tokenization, word processing, checking, spelling checking, text editing, frequency count, lexical search, concordance, lexical word grouping, lexical search, keyword search, lemmatization, text annotations, stemming, and many other things. So what we argue that important part of language technology is to develop those tools and systems for language corpus processing. Then next point is language resource development. Whenever we are talking about language resource development, we actually mean that those resources need to be developed in digitized form and in Unicode format, making it maximally accessible to all and to all people of the country, as well as for machine readable form for utilization in system developments. So we need to develop language resources like lexical databases. For India, it is monolingual lexical database, multilingual lexical databases are required. We also need term banks for all scientific terms, technical terms, in general sense, in specific sense. That means in domain specific technical terms. Suppose I am trying to translate a text of physics from one language to another, we need to have monolingual and bilingual term bank of physics between all the languages, all the Indian languages. So term bank of different types, of different categories is must to be developed. The lexical libraries. Also, we need to have digital course book, teaching materials, digital dictionaries, digital thesaurus, digital reference materials, digital encyclopedia, machine readable dictionary, etc. So in general, these are called lexical language resource development as a part of language technology research and development activities. So these are maybe available in many of the languages in the printed form, but not in the digital form. So now we need to concentrate on that. The next one, technology tools and systems for systems development. We need to have a lot of systems. We have been talking about the morphological analysis of words, automatic morphological analysis. But to be honest, till now, we don't have much resources, much tools which can analyze morphemes very easily, or words can easily. So we are talking about developing some tools and systems for morphological analysis and generation. We also need language technology tools for parts of speech tagging, decomposition of compound words, tools for grammatical checking, tools for parsing, word sense disambiguation, tools for word net development, semantic net development, tools for information retrieval, for OCR systems, text summarization, text categorization, and others. So we need a large advanced tools, the part of language technology, research for all those activities, all those things for almost all the languages. Then we need lots of translation support systems as a part of the language technology research work, like multilingual resource generation and access system, multilingual information access system, multilingual transliteration mechanism, cross-lingual language data and information retrieval system, text alignment technology, translation analysis technology, or machine translation technology. So we need translation support systems. So these are other important parts of language technology we need to concentrate. Then it comes man-machine interface development. It's a very important part for educational technology or e-governance part. We need systems and tools for question answering system, computer aided translation, aided instruction system, web-based learning systems, text preparation system, computer assisted language education system, e-governance system, online language education system, and many others. So these are good portals where online education, technology, documentation, preservation, training, everything is possible. Also language testings. So these are called man-machine interface development as a part of language technology research. Then we need speech technology. This is an entirely new scheme, new area where a lot of things are required, that something like this speech recognition system, speaker recognition system, then speech synthesis, speech processing, voice recognition system, text to speech system, speech to text, speech disorder repair, speech to speech translation. So what we mean is that language technology is a vast area, so many application potentials are open that can be utilized for developing tools and systems. So in sum, in that we have tried to identify some of those things. Now I would go a little bit in different way. We'll try to, in cases of font technology, what we need to do. So far, we have developed our, for many of the Indian languages, the ASCII, from ASCII, ISCII to ASCII, and ISCII to Unicode systems developed. The mechanism that involves here now, that we need a system where digitized fonts are available. What we can do in a systematic way, we can proceed. First, the printing form, which is available now. Then we need a tool or a conversion mechanism from printing text, printing font to transfer to digital font. Generation of digital font is a complex task. We need to identify basic characters, glyphs, how they combine together to generate the full forms. Then also we need to consider the signatures, the diacritics, then other characters, other symbols, punctuation marks. All those are necessary to develop the digital font. The other important aspect is in Indian scripts particularly to represent those consonant clusters or conjuncts appropriately in a proper shape in digital form. So a lot of complexities, issues are involved while we are trying or designing fonts into digital form. Now, at the time of font generation or digitalization, we need to keep in mind that only one font will not suffice. We need different types of font: italic, straight, bold, dark, different stylistic variations. So font designing is a very challenging task, at the same time very interesting task. You can have a lot of artistic designs in designing a font, or a standard formal design also. So you need several types, several stylistic variations of fonts also. So for most of the languages, most of the Indian languages, we need methodology or systems or digital fonts in that way. So the people who are involved in printing technology, they might be helping us, and linguists also can combine together to develop those digital fonts. Then once those digital fonts are developed, they can be either converted into ASCII code and are linked up with ASCII code and ISCII code. And also there should have an interface between ASCII code and ISCII code. Finally, these codes have to be rendered into Unicode format. So already for most of the Indian languages, the Unicode format is designed. For those languages where this has not been done, it is high time that we should go and concentrate to develop the Unicode compatible fonts for all those languages. This present diagram presents how the whole process of conversion of printing to Unicode is possible. Another important area of language technology where we need to have information retrieval or data retrieval or linguistic information retrieval from the corpora. As we know that we need to have different kinds of information, different layers of information to be utilized in different types of tasks. So important thing is that what kind of tools, what kind of systems we need to develop to retrieve the appropriate types of information linguistic data from the corpus. So we need now good systems where for models or information access and retrieval from electronic databases. So this is required because every linguistic research and development activities are actually asking for specialized, specific set of data. So I need a system, I need a tool where from I can say identify all compound words used in my text, or all proper names used in my text, or all noun phrases used in my text. So this is a highly defined, highly specified tool. So these similar types of tools are required for almost all the languages, so that necessary data and information are possible to retrieve from corpus database. I have also mentioned that we need a huge term bank for almost all Indian languages because it has many functionalities, many applications in language technology, mainstream linguistics, translation, language teaching, etc. So since it is very difficult to compile term bank so immediately and a quick for success, and we can do in two different ways. We can go for ad hoc term bank. This will consist the limited number of terms with a goal for using them in translation works by professionals. The translators, while translating the text from one language to another, may refer to this term bank, seek and find out the appropriate terms, and use them in their translations. But since it's a very domain-specific, function-specific database, this is not going to serve the all purposes. So we always also think that it is also possible to compile an exhaustive term bank from the corpus. The second option is that we can utilize the whole corpora that are available to us to develop exhaustive term bank for languages. This will contain almost all the terms collected from a corpus. It will include all the terms of specific area of human knowledge. It is exhaustive as far as the vocabulary or the terminology database of the language or the subject matter is corpus. It is, although it is exhaustive, but mind that it is not complete in the sense that new terms may come up. So compiling the term bank, we can have three methods. First method is that we call selection method. You can collect terms from books and journals of different domains and compile into a separate database. That's a very selective method. Normally we can do in our earlier years, we used to do manually like this. Then we can collection method. Collection method means we can assemble those term banks already produced or already made available in the language or made available in the libraries in printed forms and compile them together and make a larger database also. So this is normally known as collection method. The third alternative we call is a compilation method. we can use the huge corpus which is available, identify the terms and scientific terms and technical terms available in this corpora, mark them out, then isolate them with the process of data retrieval system, and then we can have a huge exhaustive term bank which is known as comparison method. So what happens? The methodology or the research methodology is something like that. Here we have got digital corpus at our disposal. Then we do a part of corpus processing on the using processing tools. Then we do the task of parse tagging of the corpus. Once the parse tagging is done, we can do a kind of concordance to run on this corpus, collocation and lemmatization process of the corpus. Once this lemmatization process is carried out, we can tokenize the terms. Once terms are tokenized, then sorted out, then the term database is generated. Ultimately, these term databases are converted into term bank. So for all the language corpora which are under our disposal, we can use them for this way. So to generate the term bank. The term bank can be used by either language specialists or content specialists or language technologists or many other people. So everybody in every sphere of life can use those term banks. So here, rather than concentrating on the other major aspects, we have tried to isolate or to understand several important things in the area of language technology. We have identified what are the major domains of language technology are at present, and how we can divert or utilize our language corpora super available to us to develop systems and tools for all those major areas, and how ultimately we are going to utilize those tools and resources developed from language technology for the benefit or for the utilizations by the community and for the development of the languages, for the progress of the languages, for the promotion of the languages, and those language technology tools and resources can be directly utilized as a part of our system of digital India of e-governance and e-learning, e-education, and all kinds of things. Thank you.